National Museum of the United States Air Force. F-16. Okay, this was President Roosevelt, Delano Roosevelt's plane that he flew on, and also Harry Truman flew on this plane. There was an elevator down below that President Roosevelt used to get into the airplane. This is the elevator that President Roosevelt used to get into the presidential airplane, Air Force One. It's probably the first Air Force One airplane. This was Air Force One. This was the airplane that Kennedy flew. It took him to Dallas, and when he was assassinated, they had brought him back from Dallas. President Johnson flew in this. President Carter, I believe, and President Reagan. Presidential seal on Air Force One. This is the airplane that brought Kennedy back from Dallas. Many of the presidents have flown this one on up to Clinton, from Kennedy to Clinton. This is a front view of the airplane that Kennedy flew, Johnson, Nixon, Carter, Reagan, and President Bush Sr. all flew this airplane. And President Clinton, I should say. Another shot of Kennedy's airplane, which was flown by many other presidents. This is a small airplane. It was used as a backup plane for Air Force One. And President Nixon, Ford, Carter, and Reagan flew in this one. A few times, I should say. This is the airplane that President David Eisenhower flew in back in the 50s. This plane was called the Columbine. It was Air Force One for President Dwight David Eisenhower. He flew it back in the 50s. There's the Independence. It was Air Force One. Under Harry Truman, he flew this plane as Air Force One. This is a small twin-engine airplane that Dwight Eisenhower used for short trips. I guess he would probably take it to Gettysburg when he would go for his retreats there. Pretty cool airplane. This is the little airplane, the two-engine airplane that President Lyndon Johnson and Lady Bird Johnson flew in. This would be Air Force One when they were flying in it. And it affectionately became known as the Lady Bird Special, I believe. They didn't have an airport large enough to handle the big plane where they had their ranch, and they would use this plane to fly into the ranch. This is a supersonic plane. It's really unusual. I don't know the name of it right offhand here.